Hare Krishna. Mataji, recording also we have to do.
Who does? Who will do?
Shikha is there. Shikha, you'll be able to record?
Yes, I will do. Give me 2 minutes. I will log in from the laptop and then I can record.
Okay. Mataji, you'll have to make her co-host then.
Shashika has to join.
Yes, Mataji, I have joined.
So,
Yes,
okay.
Mataji, I have logged in from the laptop. Now I can record. No, sorry, I think I joined from the wrong ID. Sorry.
So, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, I have joined. You can make me the co-host.
I did. I made you
Okay.
co-host.
Okay.
Mataji, I think you will have
Mataji,
to make
I did not get the
Shikha Agarwal.
permission. It's
Shikha
asking for the.
Agarwal, I think.
Oh, sorry.
Please.
Got it?
No, Mataji, I did not get.
Yeah, I did. I did it now. Yeah. So, Hare Krishna. So, we were discussing that we finished the first 6 chapter of Bhagavad Gita as Karma Yoga. Now we are on the second part of the Bhagavad Gita, which is called the Dhyana Yoga. And the, sorry. Yes. Sorry. This is Bhakti Yoga. This is the middle part of the Bhagavad Gita, which is Bhakti Yoga. And in this middle part, we did the first chapter as a 7th chapter, where we did that how the Krishna is said to Arjuna that you should hear about me very carefully, because I'm going to give you very, very confidential knowledge. And then what confidential knowledge Krishna gave to Arjuna? That I'm everywhere. There is no place where I'm not there. And he described about the various places where Krishna is present. And then Krishna talks about that 4 kind of people accept me and 4 kind of people reject me. And then he says, why those people, even they don't know that Krishna is supreme, why do they reject? Why do they go and worship the devatas? Because then he explained that kamas taita hrita jnana, even their intelligence is stolen by material desire. When we have so much unlimited material desire, we surrender to different demigods to fulfill my desire. Whatever desire we cannot fulfill by ourselves, we try to do it with the demigods. So, and then he spoke about the worship of the Devata. So now in this chapter, in the chapter 8, attaining the Supreme. When Krishna is Supreme, in the 7th chapter, he spoke about himself. And then he said that ultimate goal should be to achieve me. Then how to achieve? Krishna discussed in this chapter, Attaining the Supreme. So the acronym of the chapter is DEAD, D-E-A-D, dead. Sorry. So first D is the doubts. Arjuna again has some doubts. He will ask few questions about, we'll see what questions he asked. Then end of life, he says what happens at the end of life, what we need to think at the end of the life if we need to go back to Godhead. Then attaining the Supreme, and then devotion. How we can attain the Supreme? By practicing the devotional service. So every chapter we will see that Krishna is giving the different process. Even when he was giving the Karma Yoga, he concluded the Karma Yoga that you should at the end offer everything to me, and that becomes Bhakti Yoga. So anything when we connect to Krishna, it becomes Bhakti Yoga. That is called the Bhakti. So there also he teaches concludes about the Bhakti Yoga. Then in the Dhyana Yoga chapter also he says, you are meditating upon me, and of all the yogis, those who think about me all the time, yoginam api sarvesham madgate nantaratmana, whose mind is fixed upon me all the time, he is the topmost yogi. So again he concludes that you have to think about me. In this chapter also we will see how Krishna will give emphasis that you should think about me. And how can you think about me? He will talk about you perform the devotional service, only you can think about me. Like we were discussing in some other class, that you think about the person whom you love the most, right? Any person who is very, very close to the heart, we always think about him every time, wherever we are, even though that person is thousands of miles away from us, but our consciousness is always connected to that person because we love them so much. So without having the love in the heart, we cannot think about Krishna. It is not possible. We have to develop the love for the Lord, then only we can think about him. Krishna is a person, but he is not an ordinary person. He is the Supreme Lord. His body is made up of also Satchidanand, is not made up of matter, even though he is person. So we are a person, Krishna is person. But the difference is our body is temporary, but Krishna's body is also permanent. Like our soul is permanent, Krishna's body is also permanent. So we have to develop the love for the Lord, to remember him all the time, because in all the chapter, every time we will see that Krishna will give emphasis, you do it for me, you remember me. If you do that, then you will come to me. So ultimate goal is to remember Krishna all the time. Whatever we are doing, yat karoshi yadashnasi yat jahoshi dadasi yat tapassasi kaunte tat kurush madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you perform, austerity, sacrifice, do everything for me. Manmana bhav mad bhakto. He says, you just become my devotee, remember me. And we can remember him all the time, only when we develop the love for the Lord. And how do we develop the love for the Lord? Is that by performance of devotional service. Is there any way to develop the love for someone? In the material life also, if you want to love somebody or you love somebody, what is the expression of the love? How do you express your love?
Do whatever the person whom you love likes.
Oh, that's so nice. Yes. What else? Anybody has any different idea about it? If we love somebody, what we want to do? How do we express our love to the person?
By special care, by special showing gratitude.
Yeah. By something, just as before, one Mataji said, by doing something very special for them, which makes them happy. Right? We want to see the people around us who are very close to our heart, to see them always happy, right? So we always try to do the things which makes them happy. But the material world, the problem is that even though if you try to make happy people around you, it is very hard. Nobody is becoming the permanent happy. We do 100 things, but still something or the other is missing. Our effort gets like, or other, even though you love somebody so much so, but at the time of death, we have to separate from them. So it's very painful. Even the love is painful in the material world. But the love is joyful in serving Krishna. Because it increases, ever increases. Krishna gives the reciprocate with our love, and it is permanent. Krishna is always there. When we do something for Krishna, it is permanent. So there is no way somebody can take it away from us. Even if I love somebody in person, after, even though you have very nice relation, you are very happy, but ultimately we have to be departed from each other, and that is very painful. So loving Krishna is the perfection of our life, where there is no pain, only happiness. If we love Krishna, we develop the love to love Krishna by performing the devotional service, then that is a perfection. Then we can be always happy. This is the only way to become happy, actually. So now we'll see the Arjuna's doubt. Arjuna doubt here. Arjuna inquired, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is the material manifestation? What are the demigods? Please explain this to me. Kim tad Brahma, Kim Adhyatma, Kim Karma Purushottama. Kim tad Brahman. Brahman means what is the Brahman? Adhyatma means nature. What is the self? Kim Karma. What is the fruitive work? Then Adibhutam. What are the demigods? Adi Devam, demigods. Adibhutam, material manifestation. He asked, tell me in all detail about all these things. Asking question is a sign of growth. If we stop asking question, we stagnate. So we should keep asking question. The question should be related to what we are learning. It should not be whimsical, and the mood should be in the inquiry. Then we should keep asking questions. This is a sign of our growth. So here Krishna will answer his question. He says, what is Brahman? So he says the Jiva, the indestructible transcendental living entity separate from material body. So Brahman is here the Jiva, and Brahman is also here the super soul. Both are called Brahman. Sometimes the super soul is also called as Brahman. And soul is all, because soul and super soul are made up of the same material, same thing. What is Adhyatma? That is Subhav, eternal nature, or the impression that accompanies the Jiva and govern the body. So whatever impression we have when we are leaving from one body to another, that is called Adhyatma. What is Karma? The fruitive activity living entity perform. Fruitive activity of the Jiva that lead transmigration from one material body to another. Adhibhuta, the material manifestation. Prakriti, that constantly changing physical world of material body consisting of material elements. Adibhuta is everything what we see around us is made up of matter called Prakriti. Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. That is called Adibhuta. Then Adideva means who are the demigod. What is the Virat Purusha? Adideva. There is Dev, demigod, and the Adidev is one who is the Virat Purusha. The gigantic universal form which includes all the demigod and their planets. Adi Yagya, who is the master of all the Yagyas? Paramatma. Paramatma is the Krishna says, Bhoktaram Yagyatapsam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. I am the enjoyer of all sacrifice, the Supreme Lord, represented as the Super Soul. So he is called Adi Yajna. How is Adi Yajna known in this body? How is we know the Paramatma in the body? In the heart of every embodied being as the regulator. I inspire performance of sacrifice and other acts. So how do we know the presence of Paramatma in our heart? Because he is the one who is guiding us all the time. He is the one who is witnessing our activity all the time. And how to know you at the time of death, he's asking. This is the main subject of the rest of this chapter. So these are the things he asked question: Brahman, Adhyatma, Karma, Adibhuta, Adideva, Adhyajna. And how is Adhyajna known in the body? How you can see the Paramatma? Because Paramatma is invisible, right? How do we see Paramatma in the body? By his Paramatma we can see is only because of the soul. Paramatma is there, then the soul is there. And soul is there, there is consciousness. Otherwise, there is no consciousness. And then he say, how to know you at the time of death? Because Krishna said, you have to remember me at the time of death. How do you remember you at the time of death? So what is Brahman? Brahman is the indestructibly and eternally existing and refer to the living entity. But beyond Brahman, there is Para-Brahman, refers to the Supreme Lord. So Brahman and Para-Brahman is same quality-wise. Brahman is also made up of Satchidanand and Para-Brahma is also the Supreme Lord. What is karma? Material consciousness. Jiva traces is try to be the Lord of matter. So what is karma? Any activity we perform is called as a karma. So there are two consciousness. Material consciousness where we perform some karma, and spiritual consciousness we perform some other karma. So various material, and because of our karma we attain the various material body, and because of the spiritual karma, spiritual karma is for us to serve the Supreme Lord. Spiritual consciousness. Material consciousness is to maintain the body, to work for the enjoyment of the body, and because we work for the enjoyment of the body, we transmigrate from one to another. Make it very clear in your mind what is death. Death is a new beginning to start whatever I have left in this body. Because this body, when it is given to me, I have a particular time to live in this body. But I have unlimited desires. So body gets over, but desire still does not get fulfilled. So we get another body. In that body, again, we have unlimited desire. And then the body gets over, and then the desire does not get fulfilled, and then we get another. That is the reason animal life is just the transmigrating from one to another by the process of evolution. Because animal does not have excess desire. They are conditioned for eating, meeting, sleeping, that whatever conditioning. A pig will not make an effort to make a big house or to get a nice food. Okay, he will make a little bit effort to eat whatever is good for him, but not that he'll make an extra effort or he has an unlimited desire. That is the reason if we go into the animal body, the transmigration is only through the process of evolution from one to another. But when we are in the human body, we have unlimited desire and we have a very limited time to enjoy in this body. So we create another body to enjoy, because my desire is not over in this body. So I get another body, then I get another body. Like that, we get from one to another. The spiritual consciousness, what is there? That is material consciousness. Spiritual consciousness is, I want to serve the Lord. Like Hanuman has the consciousness that I want to serve the Supreme Lord. And that is where the end of all transmigration is there. Adibhuta is material nature, material manifestation. Ever-changing material manifestation, the physical nature is constantly changing. Material bodies generally pass through 6 stages: birth, growth, maintained, produce, some byproduct, dwindle, and the vanish. So material nature has these 6 changes. Anything, generally the living being, even the other things has the time, it gets spoiled. Even if you buy a sofa, it has a limit life of maybe 10 years. If we build a house, maybe it has a life of 50 years or 70 years, but it gets destroyed. The material nature, everything has a limited time. And as a human being, we have birth, growth, maintained ourselves, produce someone more like us, and then dwindle and then die. So this physical nature of us is called the Adhibhuta. Adideva is the Virat Purusha, Virat Swarup of the Lord, which includes everyone. Virat Swarup has everything is included in that. When in the 6th chapter, Arjuna was asking Krishna to show the Virat Rup, Krishna showed that everything is there in him. So there is this Virat Rup is there. There's the bottom of the feet is Patal. These are the 14 planetary system, and each part of the body of the Krishna is like compared, like anchor. On his ankle there is Mahatal, on his shank this is Talatal, on his knees Sutal, on his lower part of thigh is Vital, compared, because Krishna is like gigantic form is there covering all the 14 planets, and 14 planets are in the steps. So each planet is representing the one part of the body of the Lord. That is how it is called the universal. So everything in all these planets, whatever, whoever is there in the as a living entity, everything rests in the body of the Supreme Lord. That is why it's called Vidat Rup Adi Deva. Adi Yagya is Paramatma, the enjoyer of all sacrifice, the Supreme Lord represented as the Super Soul. So this is the Adi Yagya. He is the master of all the sacrifice. End of the life, then he says, Krishna, Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevram yah prayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra samshaya. And whoever at the end of this life quits his body remembering me alone at once in my nature, of this there is no doubt. So Krishna here tells, he talks about himself, and then he says, if your one remembers me at the time of death, this is a very, very important point. Remembering Krishna at the time of death. So that is the reason we are practicing to remember Krishna every day. So when we leave the body, we can remember Krishna nicely. And if we remember Krishna at that time, then there is, Krishna says, he alone at once attained my nature. He becomes like me. He comes to me. And he says there is no doubt about it. So it is very, very important that what do I remember at the time of death? So if you are engrossed in material life, we'll remember only the matter. If you are engrossed in Krishna consciousness, then we will remember Krishna. So application is always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So Janmashtami is going to come very soon. Now we have a Balram Jayanti on 22nd and Janmashtami is there on 30th. So we are planning to have a program for Janmashtami, and this time we are not going to present anything. We want you all to come forward and do something for Krishna. You may sing, you may dance, you may do some skit, you may play some kirtan, whatever you want. You all decide what you want, and whatever your talent is there, whichever way you want to do something, please give your, this is what I want. So share it with Lata and she will help you to do something. So please think over what you can do. So remembering Krishna, there is various examples. They remember Krishna at the end of the time and they were delivered. Like we have the example of Gajendra, even though he was in the body of elephant and he was dying, and then when he remembered Krishna, immediately Krishna came to rescue him. On what basis the soul is awarded the next body? So this is a very important question. Who is deciding what my next body is? Is Krishna going to decide what my next body is? Is someone else going to decide that what type of body I'm going to go next? Or I myself decide what next body I'm going to get? So here say general law of destination after death. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tejati anta kalevram tam tam aivaiti kaunte sada tad bhava bhavita. So here Krishna says, first thing he says, antakale cha mama. If you remember me, you will come to me. But if you don't remember me, then he says, then what happens? Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. Whatever state of being one remembers, when he quits the body, he will attain the same without fear. So if you don't remember me, then you remember something at the time of death, right? Something we remember, something is there at the time of death we think about. So if you think about Krishna, then we go to Krishna. But if we don't think about Krishna, then whatever we think, we attain our destination according to that. So we create our new destination by ourselves. So we have the example like Jada Bharat was there and he was thinking about the deer and he got the body of a deer. Even though he was a great king, he was a great yogi. But somehow or other, he fell into the attachment of deer, started thinking of the deer, and he left his body thinking about the deer, and next body was given as a deer. So these are the example given in the Bhagavatam to learn from there that it is not just Krishna is saying, Krishna is showing different examples also. So we accept body after quitting another depending on desire stored in our mind at the time of death, good and bad karma in our account. So two things are important to get another body. First is the desire stored in the mind, whatever desire we have at the end time of leaving the body, and whatever karma we did the whole life. So the whole life is preparation for the next. We can't prepare ourselves. Like if you are going to give an IS exam, you can't say, I just started studying yesterday and I can give the exam today. No. We have to spend for just getting into an IS exam, we have to prepare at least for 2-3 years. Constantly. Just getting into one exam. And now we want to enter into the planet and kingdom of the Supreme Lord. So it's a very, the most important thing in our life. So desire and karma. So every step of our life, we have to see what kind of karma we are doing. Because this is going to prepare my next life. If you are hurting people, if you are troubling, if you're not doing good, if you're not following the basic principle, all that, you may think that it is maybe, I don't feel it is wrong. But Krishna has his own parameter to check. So we have to go to the parameter of Krishna to see good and bad. So these are the two things important to get another body. Practical application, while living in this life, one creates the next. So be careful. Thinking of Krishna, tasmato. So Krishna says 3 things, continuation. If you think about me, you'll come to me. If you do not think, then whatever you think, you'll go there. And then he concludes, isliye, therefore, he says here, therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activity dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. So Krishna gives all the thing and then he concludes. He says that therefore you should remember. Whatever duty you are doing, you continue, but you keep remembering me. And that is how you will attain me because your mind is fixed upon me. It is not important what we are doing. It is important how we are doing. Are we doing to enjoy ourselves? Are we offering the result of all this to the Supreme Lord? Are we doing the activity to please the Supreme Lord? Or we are doing the activity to please my senses? All that is important. Not that what activity is important. How we are doing is important. So Krishna reminds us, therefore, O Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmar yuddhacha. Yuddha bhi karna hai, to you remember me and do the yuddha. Attaining the Supreme. And then Krishna says, with the one who remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain. This is a very important shloka. Actually, this chapter has many good important shloka. Ananya cheta satatam yomam smriti nityasha tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yoga. For one who remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. So Krishna says, you remember me all the time. Why should I remember you all the time? Because if you remember me all the time without deviation, I am very easy to obtain. People think people go in the secluded place and do perform the Dhyan Yoga for many, many years. But if you remember Krishna in doing your work and just offer the result of everything, what we are doing to Krishna and chant his name, then immediately Krishna says, I am very easy to obtain. O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service, I am easy to obtain. I am not difficult. I am very easy. Why it is easy? Because Krishna also wants that we should remember and so that we can go back to him. So what is required here? Constant. Ananya cheta satata. Ananya. Ananya means hota hai, there is nothing else. Only Krishna. Whenever we have only Krishna, it means Ananya. If we have Krishna and other also, then means my consciousness is not completely fixed on Krishna, but it has something else also. So Krishna wants Ananya Cheta. And he says, if you come, so I am easy to obtain, and if you come to me, then there is no birth and death for you. You will not return into this material world. This is again one of the very beautiful shloka, no rebirth for pure devotees. Mamo petya punarjanma dukhalayam ashashvatam namnu patnapnu vanti mahatmana samsiddhi paramam gata. After attaining me, the great soul, who are yogis in devotion, never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries. They have attained the highest perfection. So if we attain Krishna somehow by remembering him, by performing devotional service, and Krishna says it's very easy if you perform devotional service. If you remember me all the time, it's very easy. And then he says he will not come into this material world. And what this material world is made up of? Dukhalayam. The creator, one who created this word, says it is Dukhalayam and Ashashvatam. It is temporary. It is full of miseries and it is temporary. So how can we be happy in the place where it is full of misery and it is temporary? We want everything permanent. But this word is temporary. So that is one of the reasons we live in fear of losing, because everything is temporary. So Krishna says, if you come back to me, you will not return into this place of misery. So life is a preparation, death is the examination. This is what is practical application. Dhruva going to Vaikuntha along with us. So we have example. He remembered Krishna all the time. He went Vaikuntha and he took his mother also along. Her rebirth is in all planets except Krishna's abode. Abrahma bhuvanar loka punaravritti no arjuna mamupete tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of miseries, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So Krishna says, you come back to me. And then he says, because everywhere there is birth, old age, death, disease, only my planet does not have birth, old age, death, and disease. That is the reason you should come there. So all this 14 planetary system comes into this material world where there is old age, birth, death, and disease. He says, Abrahma bhuvna loka. From the top to the bottom, everywhere there is birth, old age, death, and disease. Only when we go out of this and reach to the planet of Krishna, there is no old age, birth, and death, and disease. So even though the Brahma is very having a very long life, we have discussed this many times before. Brahma's life is like, we will see here. But even though Brahma has a limited, like his 100 years to complete, and then he also change. Brahma is change. Brahma is a position. So this is Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. Dwapara Yuga is two Kali. So Satyuga is 4 Kali Yuga. And all this 1/4 complete is called one Divya Yuga. And like that, thousands of Divya Yuga when goes, that is a 1 day of Brahma. So this is how the Brahma's days are really. The day of Brahma is thousands of Mahadevya Yuga. And 1 day of the Brahma is 4.32 billion human years. 1 night of Brahma is 4.32 billion human years. 1 year. And the 1 life of Brahma is 311 trillion human years. The Brahma is very lifespan of Brahma is very long. But even though Brahma has temporary, after finishing this life, he gets changed. Manifest and unmanifest material world. So he says again and again, Brahma. So Brahma's day, when Brahma's day arises, everything gets manifested, and when the Brahma's night comes, everything gets annihilated. So this is how it says, Bhuta Bhuta Grama Sayepem Bhuta Bhutva Praliyate. Ratri Agame Vashya Partha Prabhavate Ahargame. Whenever the day of Brahma is there, everything gets manifested. And then the Varna's night comes, everything gets annihilated. There is a temporary pralaya comes and happens at the night of Brahma, where every jiva goes and rests. Then again, Brahma, 12 hours passes, then the Brahma's day starts. And again, it all gets manifested. So this is how creation is happening. So what are the real problems of life? Birth, death, old age, and disease. We may have various other problems also in our life. I may not have very good teachers. I may not have education, or I may not have enough money. But that is different to everyone. But these 4 are common to every living entity. Even he is the richest person of the whole world, or is the poorest person of the whole world. This is a common problem to everyone. Birth, disease, old age, and death. Nobody can escape this. So this is a real problem. All other problem is like a relative, but this is a real problem which everybody has. And Krishna says you can stop this problem by coming back to me. So temporary session of headache is not a bliss. We have to stop permanently. Eternal abode of Krishna. He says that which the Vedanta describes, the unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained never return. That is my supreme. Tad dhama paramam mama. Yam prapya na nivartante. Once you reach there, na nivartante. Dumara you will not come into this world. Tad dhama paramam mama. That is my supreme abode, Krishna says, and that is unmanifested. It is not in the material world, it is beyond the material world, and that is eternal. So Krishna's abode is eternal. Krishna has a different pastime over there. All his cowherd boys, Mother Yashoda, and gopis, everybody is there in Krishna's abode. Those who are, and so many devotees of Krishna. Actually, it is said that the 3/4 of the world is spiritual world and 1/4 is only material world. So 3/4 of the living entities already got relief from this bondage of birth, old age, death, disease, and they are staying with Krishna permanently, happily. Only 1/4 is there in this material world who need to go back there. So practical application, every word is a song, every step is a dance. Let's go that land, magical land. So Krishna's word, every word is a song and every step is a dance. So we should go to that magic. We all want to be in the place, right? Where we can be permanently happy. There is no, there was a song, there's a song, very old song, ऐसे गगन के तले जहाँ गम भी ना हो, and I don't remember actually. सिर्फ
लेके चलो तुझे ऐसे गगन.
Yes, जहाँ गम भी ना हो. So this is a place where there is no distress, there is no, only प्यार ही प्यार, only love and love and love. So if you really want to be loved and to love to a right person, we have to reach to that place, that magical land of Krishna. And how can we reach there? What is the process? He says, attained by Bananya Bhakti. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable only by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all pervading and everything is situated within him. So we can attain that place of the Lord by unalloyed devotion. I spoke about unalloyed devotion. There is no mixing. Only I want to love Krishna and serve Krishna. I don't want any desire. Whether you give me something or you don't give me, I want to just love you. There's no conditioning. There is no business. So, and this is the very, very important of this chapter. Ends with this verse. Vedeshu yagyeshu tapahasu chaiva daneshu yatya punya phalam pradeshtam atyeti tat sarvam idam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. So a person who accepts the path of devotional service is not the bereft of the result derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, of pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all this, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. So sometimes we feel, okay, I'm chanting Hare Krishna also, but I'm read my so many other books also, or I do so many other things also. I do some worship to the Devata. Here it says, Vedeshu yagyeshu tapaha suchai daleshu yatya punya phalam pradishtam atyeti sarvam idam viditva. The Vedas, after the reading of the Vedas, the performing the yagya, tapaha, you do dana, punya, everything when conclude, it is in the form of devotional service. When you perform the devotional service, everything is included in that. That is the reason just taking the devotional service, just chanting the holy name of the Lord is enough to deliver the whole world and myself also. There is no need to do anything. There is no need to do anything. Because that's what he says. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the result. Not bereft. Not that I'm doing chanting, but I'm not getting the result of reading this or doing this. No, when we're reading Bhagavad Gita, chanting, offering to Krishna, I get the result of everything derived from the studying the Vedas, performing sacrifice, undergoing austerities, giving charity, pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities, simply by performing devotional service. He attains all these, and at then he reaches to supreme eternal abode. So not only he attains the result of all these things, but he also attains the supreme abode. So how do we perform this? Prahlad Maharaj has taught this 9 process of devotional service. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakhyam Atmanivedanam. And we see that they're the devotees who has got perfection by performing this. Shravan mein Shukdev Goswami was there. Kirtana mein there was also actually Shukdev Goswami was there. And Shravan mein Parikshit Maharaj was there. And Smaran mein there is devotee. Was the perfection remembering? Akrud. Then Lakshmi ji is there, Pada Sevanam. Archanam mein Prithu Maharaj was there. Vandanam mein Dhruva Maharaj is there. Dasyam mein Hanuman is there. Sakhyam mein Arjun is there. Atmane Devadanam Bali Maharaj is there. So they have all got perfection by performing this process of devotional service. And they attain the love of God. They attain the eternal abode by performing this. So that is how it is important for us. So we'll see that how. So we begin the chapter with Arjuna asks various questions, and then the last question is asked, what to remember at the time of death? And then Krishna says, you remember me. If you remember me, you will come to me. If you don't remember me, then whatever you remember, you tell. And then he says, oh Arjuna, therefore you should remember. Because by remembering me only you will come back to me. And then he talks about remembrance of Arjuna. And then he says, there are various people who have already attended. If you come to me, then you attain my abode. And if you do not come to me, then you remain in this material world, which is temporary. And then he describes that from the Brahma Loka to down, everywhere there is old age, birth, death, and disease. Only when you reach to my attend to my abode, there is no birth, age, old, and this disease. Whereas every step is a song, and every word is a song, and every step is a dance. So that is how it is very important for us to remember the Supreme Lord. Because if we don't remember the Supreme Lord, we will waste this life of human being. Because we have unlimited desire, as I told you. To fulfill my desire, I have to get another body. So, okay, we end this chapter here. Do you have any question, comment?
Mataji, one clarification. We talk about the Virat Rupa and the Vishwa Rupa, and one of them somewhere I read is an imaginary form of the Lord. So what is this imaginary form, and what is the Rupa that Yashoda Maiya saw when Krishna opened his mouth?
All is Virat Rupa is all imaginary, in the sense because it is not a permanent form of the Lord. It exists only in the material world because we cannot see the Lord as a Lord. So we have we can see the matter. The Lord expend himself in the matter for us to understand how it is, how is manifested everywhere. So for the Prabhupada writes, for the very beginner, those who cannot see the form of the Lord by devotional service, they see the form of the Lord by thinking as a Virat Rupa. And it is an imaginary form because it only exists in this material world. Nobody is interested to see. Even Arjuna, when after seeing this, I don't want to see it. Show me your 400 and 200 form. So devotees are not interested in this form. But just to understand, like as a beginner, who is Krishna, how is Virat, how big he can be, so he is manifested everywhere.
Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Okay. So if you have no other question, then we will end the meeting and see you all next week again.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, Lata